Thank you, Speaker. I'm pleased to stand and speak in support of Bill 58 brought forward by my colleague from Parry, Sound-Muskoka. I know I speak for many in my riding when I say it's clearly time that Regulation 316/06 of the Highway Traffic Act be updated to include classes of all-terrain vehicles not currently defined under provincial legislation, including side-by-side and two-up models. Bill 58 would amend the Highway Traffic Act to allow two-up style ATVs as well as side-by-side style UTVs to be legally driven on designated roads and trails in a similar manner to the way that all-terrain vehicles are considered. These vehicles are currently being utilized in the province and have been available for individual purchase for over a decade, and it's time that the Ontario legislation is updated to include them. It's been pointed out that despite a motion to this effect being passed by the government, by a government member in November of 2013, there's been little action taken by the MTO on this regulatory change, and that needs to change, Speaker. This is something that makes sense in rural and northern Ontario, including in my riding of Nipissing. Now, I want to say that my friend Richard Woodward just sent me an email after he saw the motion last week of the member from Nipissing Cochrane pass, that he wants to see us address what he calls low-pressure tires. Speaker, when it snows in the north, we swap out those tires with tracks. And so the Act should also include the word tracks specifically to avoid any confusion. I want to say thanks to my friend Richard for passing that point on to us. The Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters has sent a letter to the Minister of Transportation to this effect with respect to the bill, and is calling on the revision of the Highway Traffic Act to include the currently undefined classes of off-road vehicles. ATV clubs and trail organizations members are also reaching out with calls for action. Speaker, the gap in legislation makes it difficult for ATV clubs, trails, associations as user who prefer this newer class of vehicle and may be less inclined to purchase permits as they are not legally able to use the vehicles on public property. The limitations in the use of these off-road vehicles are not always made apparent when you go and purchase one of these vehicles. So in conclusion, Speaker, let me say that other jurisdictions have embraced the defining of new classes of off-road vehicles. Quebec, for instance, allows them under similar regulation as traditional models and continues to benefit from tourism on public trail systems. Surely we can look at the Quebec example and make this work here in Ontario. Speaker, this is a good bill. We can do this in Ontario. It makes sense. I ask all my colleagues, especially those who backed the November 2013 motion and the motion last week from the member from Nipissing Cochrane, to vote in favour of Bill 58 today so we can move this forward. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Further